let's just do a little mic check. Hello. Hello my loves, welcome back to another vlog. Today I wanted to talk to you about things that I have let go of over the years, things that I have stopped doing to live a simpler and slower life. I wrote about this recently on Substack, and I'll admit it was one of those posts where I kind of didn't know what to write that week and thought, oh, maybe this will help people. And it went a little bit crazy and it got thousands of likes, and I realised that things that seem so obvious and mundane to us in the now can sometimes be quite revolutionary to people who are new to a new way of living, new movement, because we don't know what we don't know, right? So I thought that I would share these things with you. They do come with a caveat in that by no means am I saying these are essential or right. These are just what I have personally adopted, done, let go of, that have really, really helped me. So hopefully me sharing them will give you a little bit of inspiration. The first thing that I stopped doing, and I'll admit I'm still working on this one, I stopped saying yes without thinking things through. As a people pleaser, by default, I tend to say yes straight away without thinking whether I actually have capacity for that thing, whether I even want to do that thing. And it is definitely something that I am still working on, but I gave myself permission to start practicing saying no and learn the art of it. And I really believe that if you master the art of saying no, a simpler, slower life just falls into place. The second one is quite divisive. I always get a strong reaction to this one, but I stopped cooking a variety of meals. So I tend to eat the same thing every day. By no means am I saying that this is right or wrong, but for me personally, it really, really helps. It makes my weekly shop easier, it makes budgeting easier, it makes the process easier, and has resulted in me eating a lot healthier than I used to as well. But as I said, it's very divisive, and a little bit like when I stopped drinking alcohol. People had a really strong reaction to it, but what I've realised over the years is that their strong reaction is all about them, and it's actually nothing to do with you. And my personal philosophy on these things is you do you and I'll do me. I don't care that you want to eat different things every day, that's fine. I don't care if you want to drink, you enjoy yourself by all means. But I don't want to, and that works for me, so that's what I'm going to do. I also stopped believing that I had to work hard to gain success, and I stopped working full time. So I actually have no desire to work full time. I try to honour a 4-day work week where I can. I find that I am much more productive during that time, and my days off are completely sacred. And I feel the benefits of that balance. It's actually something that was inspired by my trip to Scandinavia a few years ago. But I do personally believe that time is our most precious resource, and having control over my time contributes to my happiness more than any financial gains could. I said in the piece that when I'm sat in the Jardin de Luxembourg in an afternoon, reading a book with coffee by my side. You know, it's the simplest of moments, but I really feel like the richest girl in the world. This one goes back to my 20s, so it's been probably 10 years now since I stopped doing this, but I stopped accumulating debt. Now, I will never pretend to be a frugal kind of simple, slow living creator. I love beautiful things. I love very nice things. We all know this if you watch my work. But yeah, back in my 20s, I did commit to debt-free living and faced so much resistance at that time. Like, you know, I have to have a lot of money. I have to be earning a lot of money to live debt-free. But deciding to stop accumulating debt and repay all the debt that I had at that time was the single best decision of my adult life. And on the other side of it, of the initial struggle, was abundance that I could have never imagined. It was very simple what I did. I wrote down the number of debt that I had on a little piece of paper and I kept it with me at all times, and I became absolutely obsessed with reducing that number down to zero, and eventually I got there, and a debt-free life most definitely gave me freedom. At the same time that I made that decision, I also stopped striving for a bigger home. Now I live in a 25 square meter studio, and it's tiny, yes, but I love it. And in terms of size, it's perfect for me. And I wrote in the piece that yes, I would love to piqué pirouette around a really beautiful, grand Parisian apartment. But what it would take in terms of finances and additional stress and maintenance, it's not worth it for me. I'm really happy in the space that I need so that I can furnish it in a luxury way, which is something that I really enjoy. And I can use those finances, those energetic resources elsewhere. This one happened when I moved to Paris and I stopped driving. So when I lived in the UK, I was living in the countryside, and that kind of life is very much set up for driving. And I remember when I moved here and I was drafting my new life budget, I called it, I couldn't believe how much extra money I had because I didn't have my car anymore. I sold it when I moved. And I can't imagine going back to that kind of life now, to driving. And not owning a car is one of the reasons that I could afford to move to Paris. Next one is I stopped buying things impulsively. So, as I said earlier, yes, I love beautiful things, very, very much. But for me to buy anything these days requires a lot of thought and time. It's very, very rare that I will go out and buy something that isn't on my would like to own, aka wish list. And usually what I tend to do is wait at least 24 hours before making any kind of big purchase, unless I'm replacing something, obviously. Just waiting and learning to enjoy the joy of waiting and that delayed gratification. I'm very considered in my purchases now. I stopped following accounts that gave me negative feelings. So I have deleted entire social media platforms, looking at you, TikTok, because they made me feel bad. And I'm a very careful curator of my feed. I also believe that we create what we consume, and just like what we feed our bodies is our physical diet, what we're feeding our brains is our mental diet. And I try to be very aware and careful about that. So I'm following people who make me feel good, who are positive, who are aligned with the kind of life that I want to be living, that are living in gratitude, love, and joy, because they're the feelings that I want to infuse and build my life around. This one was huge and really, really helped. So I stopped multitasking. I learned that we can't actually multitask, and it doesn't matter if you are male or female, we just can't. Our brain is wired to do one thing at a time. And I surrendered to this, and the difference was huge. I realized that trying to multitask was a complete waste of time. The only instances where I will try to incorporate multitasking, even if it means diffusing my energy a little bit, is when I'm habit stacking. So I'm really passionate about ballet, as you know. So while I'm cleaning my teeth, I'll do calf risers and releves, and I will also do, I like to listen to or recite my positive affirmations in the morning while I'm doing my skincare. I find that marrying habits like that can be really, really useful, but I don't overdo it, because presence is the greatest gift. To fully immerse yourself in what you're doing at that time. It means that you enjoy it, you experience it deeper, and for me it's just a more beautiful, meaningful way to live. Another very divisive one that can freak people out is that I stopped watching TV. So I don't own a TV. I used to, and passively watching TV used to be a big part of my life. It used to be a big energy and time drain. I really don't like the aesthetic look of a TV, so it wasn't very difficult to stop doing it. I watch things on my laptop, but I intentionally choose what I'm watching. So not having a TV meant I don't have that background noise going on, and it's just saved me so much time. And what I do watch now, because I'm watching it intentionally, I feel like I enjoy it so much more. And the last one is rushing / over scheduling. And this is a clean identity shift that I made recently, where I have completely rewired the self-belief that I have to rush, that I'm busy, that there's so much to do in a day. And I have told myself repeatedly, again and again and again, I am someone who doesn't rush. So I take my time and I try to move slowly through life. An example is if I miss a metro, that's fine. Unless it's an emergency, I'm not going to run for it. I'll just trust that, okay, I missed it. There'll be another one. It's all right. I don't have to rush. I can take my time. And that's the kind of person that I want to be. So I have to align my behavior with that identity and step away from those cultural norms and pressures, because they didn't make me feel good. So I move slowly throughout the day, and I do that guilt-free. So I hope that gave you a little bit of inspiration, a few ideas that maybe you hadn't had. Thank you for spending time with me, and I'd really love to hear in the comments if there's anything that you stopped doing, because I am always on the lookout for things to stop doing, and I'm sure that others are as well. If you want to read the full piece that I wrote on this, I will leave a link to my Substack in the description for you. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon.